Mike Perry, who said Jake Paul was fixing fights. I covered that. I don't know if you guys remember the situation. Mike Perry accused Jake Paul fixing fights. He was saying all of these guys are taking money. Basically, it's gonna be a rehearsal and they're gonna act everything out. WWE. Jake Paul versus Platinum Mike Perry going down this Saturday on Netflix. No, regular pay-per-view, $65. And as you guys remember, it was supposed to be Mike Tyson. What happened? Well, Mike Tyson, as you can imagine, is an old guy and had, you guessed it, health concerns. Now, did Jake Paul say, okay, you know what, Mike Tyson's getting a little older with health concerns, maybe he should fight someone else down the line? No, you guessed it. Jake Paul said, I'll fight the old guy with health concerns in November. Yeah. So what makes this fight any different than Mike Tyson? Platinum Mike Perry, first of all, is not really a traditional boxer. Of course, you know, he made his roots in the UFC. He's an MMA fighter through and through, but primarily a stand-up fighter. He wasn't really, you know, a guy who was great at wrestling, a guy who was great at jiu-jitsu. He was primarily a stand-up fighter. He's got good hands, but he's not a traditional boxer. Mike Perry's got good power, but I would venture to say, you know, Jake Paul might have more power just because, you know, he's a better boxer and can set up shots better. So if Mike Perry gets hurt, he's got the better chin. We haven't seen Jake Paul get tested. However, Mike Perry can walk through punches and fight an entire fight like a zombie, and the guy just keeps coming forward and does not care about getting hurt. So, in other words, we've got a better fight on our hands. Jake Paul, the better boxer, who has been training boxing for years right now, and even though he's still at an amateur level boxing wise, you know, if people who understand boxing know what I'm talking about, he's an amateur level boxer still. Yes, after training for years. He hasn't really faced legitimate boxers. He faced a guy who was an amateur level boxer in Tommy Fury, and he lost. So that shows you the level that Jake Paul is at. He's just fighting retired, you know, MMA fighters, and he fought an Uber driver. Let's just cut the right now, all right? It's getting past that. We do have a fun fight where anything can happen. Mike Perry comes forward, does not care about getting hurt or knocked out. He's looking to end his opponent. That's what he was about in MMA. That's what he's certainly about in bare knuckle boxing. And that's what he's going to be about when he faces Jake Paul on Saturday night. And then you have Jake Paul, who's a better traditional boxer and, you know, honestly can hurt and KO Mike Perry, if we're being honest. He can. Like, Mike Perry, you know, is not going to know the kind of shots that Jake Paul's setting up. He's not going to know distance control as far as, you know, being a traditional boxer. And so Jake Paul could set him up and it could end badly for Mike Perry. What else is interesting about this fight? Well, we have Mike Perry, who said Jake Paul was fixing fights. I covered that. I don't know if you guys remember the situation. Mike Perry accused Jake Paul fixing fights. He was saying all of these guys are taking money. Basically, it's gonna be a rehearsal and they're gonna act everything out. WWE, in other words. And now he faces the guy he accused of fight fixing. Like, what happens now? What happens now? You know, you can't accuse the guy of fight fixing, go on to fight him, and then do it afterwards. And so you have one of two things that's gonna happen, where either Mike Perry wins, it's great for him, and he proves Jake Paul wrong. Either Jake Paul wins in dramatic fashion, and Mike Perry can say he was wrong about the fight fixing accusations, or he can double down afterwards and say he got paid and it was fixed and it was rehearsed and all these things. So you have those scenarios that could play out. It's hilarious that he accused him of that and he's fighting him. I will say this, This fight, if it goes the distance, I don't care if Mike Perry literally wins every single round, every minute of every single round. He will lose the fight if it goes to a decision. Again, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, Mike Tyson is slated to fight Jake Paul on Netflix. Netflix is paying a lot of money. They're trying to venture into boxing and take away pay-per-view style boxing, or maybe get into the pay-per-view landscape and charge less for pay-per-views. Who knows what the business model is going to be, but this is their venture into boxing, maybe sports in general. And so they're trying to set up Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson in November. Business-wise, if this goes to a decision, 100%, Jake Paul will win the fight. Mike Perry has the chance to KO Jake Paul and win the fight that way, but that's the only way he can win this fight, is to stop Jake Paul in his tracks. Let me know what you guys think. Comment, like, subscribe, share. I appreciate it. Peace.